Bernie Sanders walked out of an interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl because the questions were that bad. It wasn't like confrontational. It wasn't aggressiveness. It was just kind of useless. It was really the DC cocktail party fluff that corporate media has been recycling for decades as the country falls to a deeply authoritarian, incompetent man who's now in the Oval Office again. So here is Jonathan Karl starts asking Bernie questions that are kind of predictably hollow. Bernie gets up and leaves. And then after coaxing him back, Jonathan Karl follows up with, I'm not kidding about this, are you running for president in 2028 in the middle of what we have going on? Check this out.
There with AOC today. Do you see her as a future of the progressive?
We have one of the untold stories of what's going on in current American politics is that in the House of Representatives, you have dozens and dozens of strong, smart, disciplined, hardworking young people in the Progressive Caucus. And, you know, way back when I first came to the Congress and the House, I helped form the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people in it at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandra is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her joining the Senate?
Right now we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more that's important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You know, you want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I love it. All right, so now he coaxes him back and then asks the very hard-hitting question, you may be running for president again?
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last...
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier to...
Coaxes him back on camera.
I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again, or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, and I'm tired.
All right, so listen, first, before we even get into this, Bernie's making it clear he's not running for president. Okay, he says, I'm 83 years of age. He would be nearly 90 years old at the time that the next president would be sworn in January of 2029. Just as like a factual aside, and I'm not thinking of it now, but as we start to think about this, I think it would be good to just understand that Bernie's making it clear he's not running again. And it's not, oh, we don't like Bernie. No, we like Bernie. I supported him twice already. But the point is he's making it clear he's not running. Okay. He's tired. He's old. He says he's not going to be running. So here's what's going on. We are in March of 2025. Billionaires are dismantling the federal government. Authoritarians are rewriting the rules of democracy. And ABC News is asking Bernie, who would be close to 90 on Inauguration Day if he's planning another run, and trying to generate inside the Beltway drama about AOC switching from the House to the Senate, which I can assure you voters do not care about outside of what is she going to do as a lawmaker. Now, if you sat people down and said, let's talk about the differences between what you do in the House and the Senate, I'm sure you could get people to go, yeah, sure, sounds good, Senate maybe. But this is really Beltway stuff. I'm sure Jonathan Karl is a nice guy, or I assume he is because I assume most people are. But he is part of a system. And I talk about this in my book. It is a system that is going to output certain things when its inputs and its structure are what they are. This is what corporate media does. It ignores actual policy and actual stakes and serves up horse race theater. Remember the 2024 campaign where reporters asked Trump 5,000 times who his VP pick would be. And then he would play coy and it would just become story after story when we're going to know. The question is, what are the policies he's advocating here? And he was rarely asked about his plan to gut the Department of Education, which he's now trying to do. He was rarely seriously challenged about his plan to abandon NATO, which he seems determined to be doing. So Jonathan Karl's not incompetent. ABC News is doing its job, which is distract, sanitize, entertain, in order to point to the next thing way down the road, rather than, hey, wait a second, what does happen if Trump simply ignores legal court orders? And what recourse do we have to try to crawl back into a system where the judiciary is respected and has power and teeth? And when Bernie doesn't play along, he gets treated like the problem. Oh, Bernie's so difficult. He's obstinate. And so it's not just that the questions are vapid and shallow, it's that they're designed to be. These interviews are not meant to inform voters about policy. They want Bernie, who got a crowd with AOC in a bunch of cities over the weekend, as we talked about, they want Bernie to create drama by saying, oh, the Senate is way more valuable and AOC should be there. Or I'm not ruling out running in 2028. What Bernie has to say about poverty or Medicare or the creeping rise of global authoritarianism, it's just not that interesting. And that's where we land. When Democrats are asked about hypothetical elections that are years away, and then they don't want to answer, they are considered to be the problem. And then on the other hand, when Republicans lie about elections that already happened, like Trump claiming he won 2020, those lies are treated with soft gloves and false equivalency here. Some people say it was stolen while others disagree. That's a classic line from corporate media. Some say humans are having an impact on the planet's climate while others disagree. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for being neutral when neutrality couldn't possibly be less objective. So this is like empty calories, right? For a public that is really starving for a deeper analysis. So I'm going to keep trying to do the best I can to both grow the pie of independent media, right? So we got to play the games in some places. I can use really boring titles on YouTube and then no one will pay attention. So we're going to play the games as necessary on each platform, but we're going to talk about, hey, here are the historical equivalents for what we are seeing right now with regard to ignoring the judiciary. Here are 5 ways to organize healthcare, all of which would be better than what we have. And here are the 5 countries that have chosen these systems. Maybe he's a nice guy. He probably is, but this is not good. And Bernie Sanders realized it right away. So many different VPNs reach out to me wanting to advertise on the show, and I always turn them down because most of them do not pass the sniff test. Most VPNs are all owned by the same big mysterious company. They log your internet activity so they can sell it or give it to law enforcement. And these VPNs are just out to make a buck without really protecting your privacy. The only VPN I trust enough to have as a sponsor is Private Internet Access. Our sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the only VPN who has proven multiple times in legal proceedings they don't keep logs of your activity. The judge ordered that PIA show user activity history. Each time they demonstrated they don't have the records. That no-log policy is also independently audited by Deloitte. And PIA is also open source. So you can also see in the code that none of your activity is being logged. And you can protect unlimited devices with just a single account. Private Internet Access is giving my audience 83% off, which is just $203 a month, plus 4 extra months for free. Go to piavpn.com/Pacman. The link is down below.